Welcome into the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Chase Senior. Coming up in just a few seconds, I'm going to be answering all of your questions during our 49ers News and Rumors mailbag. But first, shout out to Manscaped for making today's mailbag possible. Valentine's Day coming up around the corner. Hook your significant other up with the best men's grooming product tools by going to manscaped.com/49ers. You can even get it for yourself if you want to treat yourself. 20% off, free shipping by plugging in that link down below, manscaped.com/49ers. That's in the description as well as the comment section of this video. We start off this mailbag with this question coming in from Lil Ethan. Do you think we could bring back DJ Reed? Yeah, potentially, and that's certainly an area of need. And there are a lot of area of needs on this 49ers roster. Over the next couple of days, maybe over the next week, we're going to take a look at every single free agent on the 49ers. We did that video back a couple months ago, but we're going to refresh it because in that secondary, on that defense, I think that's the biggest area that you need to fulfill is cornerback. Outside of that, I really do think you're set. And could DJ Reed come in and play very well for a pretty affordable price? I think so. Sticking with the cornerback spot, this one coming in from EBC. Do you think K'Waun Williams will resign? The problem with the player like him is you're really going to have some difficult decisions to make if you're John Lynch, Adam Peters, Kyle Shanahan, this entire front office. K'Waun Williams is valuable. He's a very good slot corner. But in the pass-happy NFL, there are a bunch of teams who are willing to overpay for a player of that caliber of K'Waun Williams. I'd really like to see him back. I think he's a really good player. This year, he was one of the best slot corners in the NFL and played a little bit outside because of the injuries there. But if another team offers him just a crazy amount of money, it'd be tough to bring a player like that back. Xavier Garcia, is Trey Lance ready to make a Super Bowl run? So I actually do want to address this, and I'm glad you asked that question because a lot of people said, we have a Super Bowl ready roster, but if Trey Lance is our starter next year, we have no chance of making it to the Super Bowl because he's going to be so young and inexperienced. I actually don't think that's the case. Patrick Mahomes sat out his first year, comes back in 2018 and his first full year, and he led the Chiefs to the AFC Championship game and lit the league on fire and was the NFL's MVP. Joe Burrow, who this year is representing the AFC in the Super Bowl, is in year 2. He just led the Bengals to the Super Bowl. The game has changed where quarterbacks are able to develop quickly, and when teams get hot, sometimes it doesn't matter what the quarterback's experience is, and the development of quarterbacks has been fast-tracked. I trust Trey Lance to develop and be ready with this current coaching staff because I think Kyle Shanahan's a very bright offensive mind. Bros before O's. What kind of O's are we talking? You let me know. Could the 49ers afford J.C. Jackson in free agency? They're definitely going to have to get creative with the cap. And for the salary cap nerds out there who are like, they don't have the cap space to afford a player like J.C. Jackson. You can revert money to future years. You can finagle the cap. You can pull off salary cap gymnastics to make something like this work. Now, moving off of Garoppolo certainly helps that. Base salary of around $24 million. That frees up money, but you also want to sign Deebo Samuel as well as Nick Bosa. I think you should get those deals done just like the Niners did with Fred Warner. They've been very proactive as an organization, paying their young players ahead of time. J.C. Jackson, though, $25 million. That's a lot of money. They can afford it. Is it worth it, though? Because do you need a shutdown corner, like a premier shutdown corner worth $20 to $25 million if you get consistent pressure on the quarterback? Old man, is Jimmy Garoppolo the third best quarterback in 49ers history? If not, who and why? Whew. Yeah, I mean, obviously Montana and Steve Young take those first two spots. I know that his career didn't last that long, and I know some people are going to chirp in the comment section because he's become a controversial figure, but like Colin Kaepernick was really, really dynamic for a few years there and had a lot of success. Helped lead the Niners to a Super Bowl, another NFC Championship game, won a couple of really, really big playoff games. He might be the third best, and was he a better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo? I think he was more of a threat than Jimmy G. Better arm strength, better athlete. Him pairing up with Harbaugh was really, really special there for a little bit. I would never deem Jimmy Garoppolo as special. He was just a nice, steady force and a great leader for this team. Niner 63. Do you think we upgrade the offensive line this offseason in free agency? I'm not really sold on Tom Compton. So, yeah, Tom Compton was starting at right tackle because Mike McGlinchey went down. Now, before Mike McGlinchey tore that quad, was he living up to the expectations of being a former top 10 pick? No. But he was above average and pretty solid before that injury. He got hurt during that first Cardinals game, tore that quad. And his Pro Football Focus grades, overall, pass, run, were around 70, which is about league average. So I think he would be an upgrade over Compton at right tackle. I think the upgrade that you're looking for is in-house. It's Laken Tomlinson at left guard, who has played in 80 of 80 games, starts in the regular season since coming to the Bay. I think that's the biggest upgrade. Now on Tuesday, Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch addressed the media, and Kyle Shanahan's been rocking a pretty fierce beard all throughout this year, and that's kind of been his forte and his look over the last couple of years since taking this 49ers job. Do you think he uses Manscaped? Let me know. Type M for Manscaped, type N for no. I think he does use Manscaped because, after all, Manscaped is the official men's grooming product sponsor of the San Francisco 49ers. And with Valentine's Day around the corner, you don't want to be scary, hairy down below the belt. So get hooked up with Manscaped and take care of that problem. Manscaped.com/49ers. Enter the promo code 49ers for 20% off and free shipping. The perfect package, it's where it's at. All of these products for a combined $87.99. The boxer briefs, they're killer. Most comfortable that I've ever worn. You want to see what I'm talking about? Cop them right now as part of the perfect package. Ball toner, ball deodorant so you don't really smell down there. And all of this comes in a travel case as well. That's why they call it the perfect package, folks. Deebo Samuel, perfect package. Manscaped, perfect package, even better. Manscaped.com/49ers. Enter the promo code 49ers. Jack Tube, JJJ, is Tyrann Mathieu a good fit for this team if Jaquiski Tartt leaves? I'd rather have Jaquiski Tartt. Why is that? Because he knows the system, and he's going to be a lot cheaper than Tyrann Mathieu. Tyrann Mathieu is a very good player. He's the ultimate Swiss Army knife. He can play literally any position on the football field outside of like defensive tackle. They've blitzed him as kind of a, quote, edge rusher, plays slot, plays DB, plays safety. He's a really special player, but he's dealt with some injuries. He's gotten beat up over time, and he's going to demand a very, very high price tag. Most recent reporting is that the Chiefs might franchise tag him, making him one of the highest paid safeties in the NFL. Greg Alaska USA, as we have people tuned in from all across the globe. Shout out to y'all internationally and those of you in the best country in the world here in America. Should the Niners get a second-round pick for Jimmy Garoppolo, what should they do with the pick? What's the team's biggest weakness? I think the 49ers are going to get back a second-round pick for Jimmy G. That is my prediction. I don't think it's going to be a first. Some people have that Jimmy G slander, and they're like, he's not good enough to get back a second. If Sam Darnold gets a second, Carson Wentz gets the protected first, the Niners can get back a second-round pick. Garoppolo's won a bunch of games. He's a very good leader, very good in crunch time oftentimes, or at least he was this year. And if you get that second-round pick, I think you address corner. I think you might address offensive line. Maybe you get a big-bodied wide receiver, although I'm really focusing on the defensive side of the football. I love their linebacking core. I like Ward and Tartt. Do you get another backup safety to develop? Wouldn't hate that either. Larkus, is keeping DeMeco Ryans big? Is making it to the Super Bowl a big deal? Oh, yeah. Keeping DeMeco Ryans is a huge deal, Larkus. Very, very big deal. He's emerged as one of the best and hottest young coaches in the NFL. For him to turn down a second interview with the Minnesota Vikings came as a shock to me because he was in the running and they wanted to interview him for a second time. But he wants to come back to San Francisco to continue to develop and learn from Kyle Shanahan, that according to Tom Pelissero. And I think it's only a matter of time before he's going to be a head coach. The adjustments that happened along the way for DeMeco Ryans' defense, fabulous. I mean, the first 9 weeks, they weren't good. Weeks 10 through 20 prior to the NFC Championship game, you can make the argument they're the best in the NFL. And he came through with very creative ideas. Eric Armstead from edge to D-tackle. Arden Key looked to be a bust as a high-round pick for the Raiders a couple years ago. From edge rusher to DT, he really flourished. Nick Bosa, 15.5 sacks this year, 4 more in the playoffs. DJ Jones developed. I mean, DeMeco Ryans did a hell of a job. And this defense was able to become one of the best in the NFL. against some really good quarterbacks, Matthew Stafford, Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers, with a secondary that is somewhat lackluster. Keeping him is massive. Let's run it back with DeMeco. Now, when the DeMeco Ryans news became made official by Tom Pelissero, and it was announced that he was coming back to San Francisco after turning down that interview with the Vikings, I had you covered with the video from the crib within an hour. That's why you subscribe. We're faster, better, more informative, more fun than anybody else out there, and we interact with the audience more so than any channel out there as well. Subscribe to the channel as we approach 55,000 subs, youtube.com/49erstv, or hit that red subscribe button down below. Few more questions to get to. EBC, do you think that there's a chance Mike McDaniel stays since the Dolphins are under some heat and getting sued by Brian Flores? No, because they have to fulfill their head coaching vacancy by finding a coach that's going to take over for Brian Flores. They're under heat, that's for sure, and if owner Stephen Ross, it's proven that he paid Flores $100,000 every loss to tank the season back in 2019, he's going to be forced to sell the team, and that's going to go up there in terms of scandals with like Pete Rose, because that's really, what's the term you used earlier, Coop? It's not tampering.
Match fixing.
Match fixing. That's basically what it is to a certain degree. Now, shoot, if McDaniel's like, okay, I thought I was going to get this head coaching job, now they don't have an owner, and then the team doesn't have an owner, who the hell are they going to bring in to be the head coach? And would McDaniel want to take that head coaching post knowing the dysfunction going on with that within that organization? So at the start of that question, I didn't really understand what you were saying, but now I have a better grasp of what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, he might decide to say, yo, let me, like DeMeco, wait until next hiring cycle. Let me improve my stock, and let me get a better job than the dysfunctional Dolphins. Digital Devil, what's our schedule look like next year? Bad, good, great. Well, I'm a man of the people, and I'm going to pull up the 49ers opponents next year, and I'm going to rattle those opponents off very, very quickly here. Just give me a moment, as I pull it up on the fly. I think I can pull it up on the fly. All right, let me search for this 49ers 2022 schedule. We don't know the specific dates yet. We do know the opponents as to who the Niners are going to play. I'm scrolling. I know this is bad radio, bad TV, bad digital stuff, but I'm trying to do my job for the people. Where is it? 49ers schedule and the opponents. It's been released. We're going to be doing a video on it soon. I hope I can find it. Shoot. Hold on. This mailbag's going to drag on forever. I know you guys are like, what the hell is this guy doing? I'm just trying to look through our community tab because I had it all there. Since the Niners did finish in third place, they're going to have a third place schedule. So they're going to take on other teams in third place across the NFL. Okay, here it is. So, home games. Chiefs, Chargers, Dolphins, Saints, Bucks, Washington, Cardinals, Rams, and Seahawks. Away games. Falcons, Panthers, Bears, Broncos, Raiders, Cardinals, Rams, and Seahawks. There you go. Opponents for 2022. We do it for the homies. Last question coming in on this mailbag. Joshua Garcia. Do you think people will ever understand Rodgers is still under contract while the Packers and can't come to the Niners? Let me try to simplify what you're saying. So he can come to the Niners, Joshua, if it's by trade. Now, the Packers aren't going to give him away for nothing, even if he does demand a trade. It's just not going to happen. He's one of the best players and quarterbacks that we've ever seen. So the Packers are going to ask for a very good player back. And they might ask for a Deebo Samuel or a Nick Bosa or another very, very good player. Maybe Trey Lance as well. So that's the problem with those negotiations when it comes down to a trade is the Packers are like, hey, we'll give you Aaron Rodgers. We need something back, though. It's going to be a hefty price. But if the Niners were to make that type of move, man, it'd be bold, and they'd be putting their chips to the center of the table, and they'd be shooting for the Super Bowl next year.